Hey there. So today we are going to take a look at packet pages 182 and 183, talking about human karyotypes and atypical karyotypes. So I have already cut out my notes and glued them into my notebook, so I am ready to go. So we've been talking about, the human genome and chromosomes for a while now. So we know that humans, right, we have 23 pairs of chromosomes for a grand total of 46 chromosomes, right? 23 pairs, one set that you got from mom and one set that you got from dad. So 23 from each for a total of 46. Each of our chromosome pairs have sets of genetic regions that are different from the other chromosomes. Basically, what we mean here is that, chromosome pair 1 is going to carry genes for certain traits, and then chromosome 2 will carry genes for other traits. So, maybe eye color is on chromosome 1, but hair color is over here on, chromosome 5. And then maybe if your family carries a genetic trait for, lung cancer, maybe that's here on chromosome 7. So that's what we mean by genetic regions. But each chromosome is essential, right, for survival. The only exception being the Y chromosome. We do not have to have a Y chromosome in order to live. Biological females do this every day. If you are biologically female, you have 2 X chromosomes, right? So you live every day without needing the Y chromosome. But every other chromosome is essential for life. So this word here, karyotyping, this is the process where chromosomes are, sorry, I lost my train of thought. Sorry, where they are stained so that they stand out and examined under a microscope to look at chromosome size and shape. So chromosomes, right, they really don't look black and white. I mean, imagine just a very colorful image here, reds and blues and greens. And I will post a link to some actual stained karyotypes for you to look at. But this is essentially what you would see is all of the chromosomes lined up from largest all the way down to the smallest, right, being chromosome pair 22. And then, of course, the sex chromosomes are always put at the end. So we can see the size and shape of the karyotypes in order to make sure there aren't any genetic disorders. So if we take a look at this karyotype, right, this is a normal human, 23 pairs of chromosomes, nothing extra, nothing missing. So that's good. We can use a karyotype to determine sex, right? The 23rd pair is the XY pair, right here. We're talking about this karyotype specifically. So in this karyotype, the 23rd pair is XY and usually determines biological sex in humans. The presence of a specific genetic region on the Y chromosome determines, right, maleness, right, whether you're going to be biologically male. So if this was female, then we'd say the 23rd pair is XX, still determining, the sex of the individual. So most human males have an X and a Y chromosome, whereas most human females have 2 X chromosomes. And of course, right, we say most because there's always an exception to every rule. So let's talk about what that would look like over here on our second page, right, looking at an atypical karyotype. So this term right here, aneuploidy. So when an organism or cell is aneuploidy, that means it has an extra chromosome or is missing a chromosome. And so I underlined that word missing. aneuploidy just basically means that the karyotype is not normal. And of course, this is diagnosed by karyotyping. So a woman who is pregnant, she could request a karyotype of her unborn child to see if there are any genetic disorders. So things that can cause aneuploidy, random mistakes in meiosis can occur. Non-disjunction, right, where one of the sex cells, the egg or the sperm, right, it can have the wrong number of chromosomes, right? And so we know that this is, I'll write it up here, non-disjunction, all right, where you get an extra or a missing chromosome. You have the wrong number. So the first example of non-disjunction would be trisomy. So trisomy is the condition where the organism or cells have one extra chromosome. So, right, like a tricycle, you have 3 wheels. So trisomy is when you have 3 copies of a chromosome instead, right? So I have 3 copies of chromosome 21, but in a normal, right, karyotype, I should only have 2. So I now have a trisomy. All of these trisomies come with significant health concerns. So some humans are born with trisomy 13, 18, 21, or XXY. And so depending on which trisomy you inherit or you have will determine what your health concerns are. So having a trisomy 21 would come with different health concerns as having a trisomy 18. The most common name for trisomy 21, right? We know it as Down syndrome, right? Down syndrome. And then this trisomy, XXY, again, there's a Y chromosome. So this is biologically a male because there is a Y chromosome. And so we call this, we say that this individual has Klinefelter syndrome. So this is where we had non-disjunction of the sex chromosomes. And so, either mom or dad, right, gave an extra X chromosome. Dad still gave a Y chromosome, but this biological male, he ended up with an extra X chromosome. Most men who have Klinefelter syndrome don't ever really know that they have it. There are no physical health concerns or anything that you would be able to see and tell that that man has Klinefelter. He might produce a little extra estrogen because he does have an extra X chromosome. But really the only way to diagnose this trisomy would be through karyotyping. So that's the first type of aneuploidy, is having a trisomy. The other type of aneuploidy is a monosomy. So just like trisomy, we have 3. Monosomy is when you have 1 copy of a chromosome. So this is when non-disjunction, you're missing a chromosome. So instead of getting an extra, you basically lose 1. And the only known survivable monosomy is Turner syndrome. So Turner's syndrome. Some females have been born and have lived with only 1 X chromosome. So instead of the biological female having 2 X chromosomes, she basically just has 1 X. And so that's the only known monosomy that we can survive. And even the trisomies, right? 13, 18, 21, right? These are all pretty small chromosomes. There are no known trisomies in these larger chromosomes that are survivable. There's just too many errors with the DNA. So most trisomies are going to be in these smaller chromosomes down here. So that is it for our notes here with our human and atypical karyotypes. If you have any questions or you're curious about anything about karyotypes or trisomies or monosomies, just let me know. I'll see you next time.